Live at Studio B, this is your day-to-day BYU Sports play-by-play. I'm Spencer Linton alongside Jason Shepard. Happy Friday, everyone. And a happy Friday for multiple reasons, including the fact that we get to speak with the man who just created all of those worldwide headlines in the steeplechase in Paris at the Olympics. Kenneth Rooks is back on BYU Sports Nation. Kenneth, great to talk with you again. Welcome back to BYUSN. How would you explain your last 48 hours, my friend?
Man, it's been like a dream. It's been hectic and exciting and overwhelming and awesome. And I've been talking to lots of people, just trying to take it all in. And it honestly feels like it's been 4 days instead of 2 days, just with everything I've been doing. So it's been fun though. It's been awesome.
Taking Coach Eyestone out of the mix, because clearly he's probably the biggest superstar, but if you had any celebrities that have come up and congratulated you, if you had any interactions with any of the famous people who you are now a part of, certainly, that are walking around the Olympics?
Well, Carl Lewis gave me a handshake.
Wow.
Before the medal ceremony. So there's that. And then, Snoop Dogg's been around Paris, so it's kind of funny. You don't know when he's going to pop up. He popped up one day when we were practicing at the High Performance Center. But, yeah.
Outstanding stuff. Kenneth Rooks is on BYU Sports Nation. Speaking of Ed Eyestone, could you hear him, Kenneth? Because he was super loud, but that stadium was super loud.
Yeah, the stadium was super loud. It was awesome. It was an incredible atmosphere. It was probably the loudest stadium I've ever been in.
Wow.
And also, like, a lot of the other athletes I've talked to who've even been to the Olympics before or have competed in some of these other big European meets, they also said, like, the same thing. And so it was electric. I would love to say that I heard Coach Eyestone, but I heard him in some very small part of that excitement that everyone had.
Well, we certainly know how the race finished, and we're going to spend a lot of time on that. But take us through the lead up to that. What was your mindset, and what was the goal for you heading into that race?
Yeah, heading into the race, I wanted to get in the mindset where I didn't put any limits on myself, where I could just basically race and give it my all and be happy with the result wherever it was, whether I was going to medal or not. But I did know that medaling was kind of well, maybe I didn't know, but I thought that medaling was a possibility if I was in the right position toward the end of the race. And Coach Eyestone has thought that for a while, and we talked about that a little bit, but medaling wasn't necessarily the focus going into the race. It was more focused on the process of, like, okay, let's just be smart. Let's make good decisions in the race, put myself in position to be able to respond and make moves late in the race, and just basically trust that if we put ourselves in that kind of position, if it was going to happen, it was going to happen. If it wasn't, it wasn't. Either way, I'd be able to give it my all. And so that was kind of the mindset going into it. And we came up with a few different game plans. And one of them was with the race going out fast, how was I going to respond? And so that's the plan that we executed in the race. And it made me it was a little nerve-wracking to be running a little bit toward the back. But Coach was just like, okay, if they go out hard, just don't go any faster than 65 on that first lap, and don't run any faster than 64s. And so that's what we executed, and then just trying to move up later on in that race to get in the position for that move at the end.
Kenneth, it looked like for a good stretch in that key run late in the last few laps that you had found your way to the reigning gold medalist El Bakali, and he's known for kind of doing what you just explained, where he kind of comes out of nowhere and then makes this big kick. Was that part of the game plan, to find him and be around him when he made that move? Or were you just like doing your own thing and not worried about anybody else?
I was doing my own thing, not really worried about anything else. But the thought went through my head when we were coming up on 600 to go, even 500 to go. I realized I was kind of like right next to him, and I was like, oh, okay, well, El Bakali's in the same position I'm in right now.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. That's awesome. Yeah, that was just like a little thought that went through my head, but I was more focused on just running my race. I wasn't keying off of anybody else.
You were in the lead late. What were you thinking then? Because I know you've said you thought you had a real chance at gold. So when you have that lead, take us through what you're thinking and the strategy at that point.
Yeah, well, before the race, like my thoughts were not on the gold, but when I got into position to make a move at the end of the race, and I moved and I took the lead, I just thought, I have nothing to lose. I'm just gonna go for it. None of these, like, we still were all kind of packed up, and so I just went for it. And then when I went for it, I opened up a gap, and I held that gap for actually quite a ways, and before they started catching up to me. And so, like, when I first took the lead, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm leading this thing in the Olympic final. And then I kept the gap for a little bit, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, are they gonna catch me? Like, am I gonna win this thing? And then I started to feel them slowly fight their way back behind me, and I was probably looking around a little bit too much on that last lap. I think I was just thinking, like, is this actually happening? Is this really happening right now? And so I was looking around a ton, and then they ended up catching back up to me, and I was just fighting as hard as I could to make it to that finish line. And I fight as hard as I could to when Kibiwat pulled up sideways with me after El Bakali passed me that last 100 meters to fight for that silver. So
that's something, Kenneth. I'm fascinated by this part, especially in track and field, because it's so much about pace, and then at the end, that burst and that kick that everybody talks about. And from a mental standpoint, where do you go to find that? Because you were just talking about being in the lead, and then they catch up to you, you fall back into third, and even at that point, like, he's gonna medal because it's coming down to the finish line, But then you found that extra whatever it is to put yourself back in position for the silver. Where do you go to find that when you're absolutely gassed, you have nothing else to give, but yet you find it? Where is that for you?
It's just, I think it's just deep inside. I mean, I think I have a great ability to fight and to be competitive. And the energy of the stadium was electric, but really it's just like a decision that I made. I didn't want to finish that race just settling for third. I wanted to finish that race and just go for it and just see where that was going to take me. I just really wanted to finish that race knowing that I had fought and given it everything that I had. And so I think part of it is just feeding off the energy. Part of it is just the determination to just give it everything. But one thing that's nice at that point in the race, like the worst thing is, well, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? The lockup fall apart. So it's just nice to just be able to dig down and to just give it everything.
Well, after the race finished, your reaction, wide-eyed in some moments, has gotten quite a bit of attention and is being memed for sure. But
Yeah.
what was affecting that reaction the most? Was it the fact that you had beaten your personal best by 9 seconds? Or was it, oh my gosh, I just won the silver medal? Was it a combo of things? What's going through your mind in that moment when you got super wide-eyed and that race had just finished?
Well, it was like, oh my gosh, I just won the silver medal. That's what was going through my head. I mean, I looked up at the time, and that did kind of get me too. I was like, oh my gosh, I just ran 8:06, but I didn't just run an 8:06. I ran 8:06 with a really hard close and kick, and but it was more like, oh my gosh, I just won the silver medal. This really happened? Like, oh my gosh. And so that's what was going through my head at that time, and when I was putting my hands on my head and had that look on my face.
As special, certainly, as winning the race was, I've got to imagine that everything that followed, and while it may have been a blur at the time, we've seen all the videos of you celebrating with your family, and I know that part of it means just as much to you. What was it like to be able to not only have them there to witness that, but then to be able to celebrate with everybody that has put so much time and effort in supporting you to be there with you?
Yeah, it's incredible. It means a lot to be able to celebrate with them, because I'm not here without them, and they've been a really incredible support to me, and like, part of that race. I mean, yeah, I'm the one out there running it, but they have a part in that. And I love and appreciate them. And took me a little bit to find family. My wife was the first person I was able to embrace of family, because they weren't quite down by the finish line when I was going through on my victory lap stuff, but really happy to be able to find them and share that moment with them, and share that moment with even the friends and other friends who were there too.
He is the first individual silver medalist from BYU since the great Frank Fredericks 28 years ago. Kenneth Rooks is on BYUSN. 14 months ago, approximately, you became an NCAA national champion in the steeplechase. And then you proceeded to win a couple of other American titles, and now you're a silver medalist. So how would you best describe the last 14 months of your life, Kenneth?
Last 14 months? Well, the last 14 months has been like a whirlwind. I mean, there's been so many things happening in my life, so many life decisions and choices and events that have happened that have changed my life. I mean, starting from winning the NCAA championship, and then falling and winning the U.S. championship last year, and I started dating my wife last year as well, and we got engaged in October, and I signed a pro contract in January. We got married in February. Still in school, and then getting ready for the Olympics. It's been a lot of work. There's been a few little bumps. I've had a few injuries. Well, just like little things that have kind of just given me time where I've had to just slow down a little bit and take care of my body. I've had a few foot things this year, but it's actually been a blessing to have some of those things. Maybe help me peak at the right time, so that I wasn't training as hard back in March. And but it's been a whirlwind. But it's been a fun ride, and I'm super grateful that my wife has been a part of that journey. I mean, she's been a part of that journey before I even started, before I was even an NCAA champion. So, and I really appreciate that. And she's been able to see me through this process as well, and as we've both grown together through it. So,
Kenneth, as we now look forward, have you given any thought, or how much thought have you given to the Olympics in 2028 in Los Angeles? Is that a gimme that you're going to be participating in those? What's the mindset in terms of what's next for you, specifically with the Olympics in Los Angeles?
Yeah, well, I would definitely not describe it as a gimme. I don't think that like winning USA's this year or winning the trials this year, I had confidence that I could win and that I was really fit. But it was I didn't consider it a gimme. And I don't know if that's the best example, but I wouldn't consider the LA Olympics a gimme. I'm gonna have to put some hard work in the next 4 years and be healthy and race well when it matters most. So, but I'm excited. I've thought about it being on home soil. That'll be really special because I've been able to share this moment with a lot of people from the U.S. And family and friends, but just like with everyone, just being here in Paris. It's been fun hearing all the things back home of how people have been a part of it, but being on home soil will just make that even more special.
Kenneth, cannot tell you how proud of you that we all are, and we appreciate the time and just what as you explained, has been a whirlwind. So thanks for spending some quality minutes with us on BYU Sports Nation. So happy for you. We wish you a second honeymoon at some point as well. You and your wife probably deserve that after everything that has taken place.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate that.
The silver medalist, the great Kenneth Rooks on BYU Sports Nation. Thanks, Kenneth.